All right, good morning, guys. Happy New Year. Happy Christmas if you celebrate that. Otherwise, I hope you have had a lovely winter break. I'm going to talk to you today about what we're going to be getting started with, which is a summative assessment for the next couple of weeks that we're working on, but we're starting with the easy bit today. So let me talk you through it. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be creating a mixed media piece of work. Mixed media or mixed materials means that there are a variety of different materials that have been used. We can see in the background here that there's examples of newspaper, there's some paint, possibly acrylic, probably acrylic paint, and there's some shading on the vases that look like they have been done maybe with paint or pencil or even some graphite as well. So we have a variety of different things going on here to create our mixed media outcome, and we can see it across several different examples that although all the pieces are different, they all make use of the same mixed media materials. Okay, there's just a close-up there of some of the extra pieces. Now, this is going to be a criteria B and D assessment. Criteria B is relevant to the quality of the work as a whole, and this is the success criteria from ManageBack for that. Criteria D will be a self-evaluation which is completed after the work has been finished. The most important thing for you guys to know is that this task is broken down into individual lessons where each lesson will be looking at a slightly different material or the use of materials to develop this work. And the most important features of how to do well with this are shown in the yellow highlighted parts on the slides. So, as I said, criteria B is all about the quality of the work, and these highlighted bits will help you to figure that out on the slides presenting you with the instructions. Your general aim is to have a piece of work which features collage. Collage is where you rip and stick different bits of newspaper down. Pattern, which is evident in the colors in the background. Tone, which is the shading on the vase or the object you include, and if the object looks realistic. Now, I said we're starting off easy today, and we are. The first thing that we are going to be working on today is we are putting together the background. So you will find, or you need to find, a piece of A4 paper and some newspaper. And from there, you are going to tear it into small pieces, and you're going to cover this background of this A4 piece of paper up so that when it's all dry, it's pretty good material for painting over the top of. Now, we have our first highlighted yellow bit here, which says there should be no images or color in the newspaper we stick down. You can see from this one, which the students yesterday, there is no color paper on here. There is no evidence of any photos because we don't want that stuff. We're going to be sticking stuff over some of this. We're going to be painting over some of it as well. So we don't need any distractions. I don't want to see any images of people's faces or any color or anything on there. So that's the first thing. That will probably take you about 20 minutes in all reality in order to put that together. After that, what we're going to do today is we're going to start with a little bit of practice for the observational drawing, which will go on top. So again, if I go back to my examples, we have the collage background, we have this observational drawing, which is on top, and then we have the painting of the patterns. So what we are going to do for this is, first of all, we're going to look at this highlighted yellow bit, because again, this is relevant to the success criteria. The object must look 3D and include as much detail as possible. Your object must be shaded using pencil. In order to do this today, what we're going to do is, and I'm going to take you for a little walk with me for a second, we are going to do some practice drawing. You'll find on the PowerPoint slide itself, you'll find 3 different examples of objects that you can draw for this, and I've got them up here as well. We have a super simplistic vase. We have a slightly more complex vase. And we have a very complex old style traditional telephone. Now, one of the things we're going to look at with this, just figure out how I want to do this. There we go, that works, kind of. There we go. One of the things that we're going to use to practice this is we're going to use a concept called drawing with shapes. Drawing with shapes is something that you can use regardless of your ability. If you are rubbish at drawing, if you're really, really good, doesn't matter, you can all use drawing with shapes, and you can see some of it over the top of some of the examples I've looked at. Now, this, even though it is the easy one, can still present some difficulties for people who start drawing. There are some complex shapes here. This shape up here is an ellipses. An ellipses is like a squished or condensed circle. Okay, they're really, really difficult to draw. So one of the first things we might do is we might say, okay, to get the structure of this right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use shapes to get a good idea of this together. So, in your sketchbooks, separate from the collage piece that you've done, what you are going to do is you are going to divide your page up. You can have a line across the middle to create a half page, a line across the top to create a quarter, and another dividing line to create an eighth. And we are going to practice what we spoke about a couple of lessons ago, which is iterative drawing, the idea of repeating a drawing process again and again and again so that we get better on it. And not only that, but we're going to gain a bit of confidence by working from small to big. And each time we scale up, we're going to start adding more details. Now let me loop back to, we'll start with this one, but let me loop back to the idea of drawing with shapes. So to start this, you can see here that I have two shapes, two distinct shapes. I have a circle and I have a triangle. So let's start that. I'm going to start on the quarter just because an 8 is going to be too small for you guys to see. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that circle. I'm going to find the center point and I'm going to draw a triangle. Now, because this is an observational drawing, I need to look at the reference photo and say, is this about right for where it should be? No, it should probably be a little bit larger down. Okay. Extend that triangle. Is the circle around about the right size? Yes, it kind of is. Okay. From there, we can start building in some more detail now. So when you look at this reference picture from the PowerPoint, you'll notice it doesn't have a flat bottom part. It actually has a curve. So I can find where the middle of this section is. If I want to make life slightly easier for myself, what I can do is I can mark a point on either side of the triangle, and I can create a curve that way, plotting those points from the edge to the center to make sure it's symmetrical. We can start to remove some of the lines that we don't need now. So this triangular line doesn't exist, I can remove it. Okay, these small extra lines on the bottom, don't need them anymore because I've got my nice curve on. Time to tackle the most complex part, the ellipses. For the ellipses, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that center point again. And the way I like to think of ellipses, being the most simple way to explain them, is if you imagine in, like whenever you're writing, you have brackets, words that exist in brackets. An ellipses is brackets turned on their side. If I have my two brackets and I squish them together, that's how I create an ellipses. Now we can also use the same method we used on the bottom to try and help us with this. I have my center point plotted. I'm going to draw a line maybe 1 centimeter above that. And I'm going to create a bracket, a bottom bracket there. I'm going to create another X, just maybe 1 centimeter above those sidelines. And we create that idea of an ellipses. And if it'll be slightly more easy to see, as I remove these parts now. Right, not perfect yet. It doesn't have any shading, doesn't really have any of the detail. And actually looking, using my observational skills, that ellipses is a bit big. So maybe that 1 centimeter above, that 1 centimeter below, maybe needs to be ½ centimeter. But that's where the iterative drawing, the practice comes in again and again and again, because the more you repeat the drawing, the better you get. After that, what you need to do is you need to practice with pencils to shade. Where are the dark parts? Okay, it's dark down here. That's going to be an area that I need to shade. Where are the lighter parts? Okay, so that is your challenge for today. You have to do collage on a piece of A4 paper, and you have to start some iterative drawing by picking one of these 3 objects to practice drawing in your book. Doing an 1/8 size, a 1/4 size, and a ½ size one. Okay, so developing those skills. You can use drawing with shapes to help you if you need it. Otherwise, that should be everything that you need to succeed today. Please make sure if you finish this work that you send it across at the end of the lesson, so you can see how you're progressing on with it. This one is going to be the practice, the one inside the book, but the lesson after this, you're going to be starting the real version that goes on top of the newspaper collage you've put together today. There we go. All right, guys, have an awesome lesson, and I will see you guys very soon. Good luck and goodbye.